It's an exciting day for the Bahamas, Ross University, and the Grand Bahama Port Authority and its group of companies, because on this day, July 28, 2008, the Bahamas campus for Ross University will be announced. Join us now as we head into the Grand Bahama Port Authority boardroom for an exclusive interview with Dr. Thomas C. Shepard, President of Ross University.
I'm Tom Shepard. I'm the President of Ross University. I'm also Executive Vice President of DeVry Incorporated, which is the company, a New York Stock Exchange company that owns Ross. Well, this started about a year ago with the Bahamas, but it actually started about 2 years ago. We have a medical school in Dominica. We have a veterinary school in St. Kitts. We have a 30-year history of providing quality education to many thousands of graduates we now have in the United States, Canada, and other countries. But we were hitting some capacity constraints, particularly in our medical school. So we started a search to find an area that would be conducive to having a branch for our medical school. We located a number of different countries in the Caribbean region, and Grand Bahama Island and Freeport came up number one in every aspect of what we were looking for as a foundation. And so we were introduced to the Port Authority and the government of Grand Bahama by Hannes Babik, and through that, we came down, did some initial inquiries, and started a process of working toward an arrangement where we could, in fact, set up a health sciences university here in Freeport. And today, the announcement is that that has been accomplished. We have worked out agreements with the Port Authority and with the government of the Bahamas, which are very strongly in favor of the country as well as Ross. It's one of those true win-win situations. Grand Bahama Island is really a secret, I think, as far as development. I don't know why other schools had not come here in the past, but you've got certainly your location as far as being very close to Florida is one, particularly with our travel issues we're going to be facing on our other campuses here come this fall. But certainly the area has the infrastructure that's been put together for growth. Everything is zoned appropriately so that you have a very planned community, and the people are very receptive. The healthcare system, folks here are very receptive to having medical students coming here, and just the general community, I think, is ripe for the development for a health sciences university such as Ross to come here. Ross was founded in 1978, first with a medical school and followed up in the early 80s with a veterinary school. And it was set up because the United States has a set number of medical schools with a set enrollment. And yet there were many, many thousands of people who could be physicians and had the acumen to be a physician, but could not get into an arbitrary set number of seats in medical schools. That's why Ross was founded, to give those individuals a chance to be physicians and also veterinarians. So we've stayed true to that mission. What has happened over the past few years, particularly when DeVry Incorporated came on board, is we did a very extensive marketing campaign to where our enrollments are pretty much set at this point because of our capacity constraints. But the applications to the school have mushroomed dramatically. And as well as there are other schools in the Caribbean that have been started in the past, but because they're brand new, because they haven't sought the accreditation framework that we set up over the past 3 decades, haven't assembled the faculty and the facilities and everything that goes into a good, top-notch, world-class educational facility, we are one of the top. And we're very successful in doing that. We're going to open an interim campus in January of 2009. We anticipate just a few more than a couple hundred students to begin working here who will be transferring up from our Dominica campus. In 2010, we don't have the exact date laid out, will be the actual beginning of utilizing the facilities on our permanent campus. It's going to take us a while to do all the planning, let the contracts, and begin the construction. But this is going to be a fine facility. It's going to be world-class. Even in our campus in Dominica, we have the best audiovisual IT equipment that can be found anywhere in the world. We will duplicate that here, but it takes time to assemble that and put it together. And it's what we call managed growth. We will make sure the facilities are in place. We will make sure we have adequate faculty for the student load that we have. But you'll be seeing over the next 2 to 3 years our enrollments growing from 200, which you see we'll see in January, and it'll continue to increase each semester until we get up to about 1,000 students, which would just be a couple of years from now, and beyond that, the future is in our hands. The programs are basically the medical school, which is the first program we're going to have here. The students spend 4 semesters doing their basic science training, and it'll be in Dominica and the Bahamas. They follow with a 5th semester in Miami, which is called Advanced Introduction to Clinical Medicine, and that's where they're reintroduced to the United States healthcare system, to the laboratory tests, to the various laws that the United States has that's exclusive to them. Then they spend 2 years rotating through 70 affiliate teaching hospitals around the United States, and we're now moving into Canada with that as well. And completing that and taking all the licensure tests that any U.S. medical student would also take, they're then licensed to practice in the United States. One of the things that sets us apart is that our school is approved in all 50 states and all the provinces in Canada, which you will only find 2 other schools that can say that on an international basis. So it provides our students a wide opportunity for residency training and for practice in the future. So that's our medical school program. We're initially going to have 3rd and 4th semester students here, and how we move into the future is as yet undetermined. But we do see, of course, an increasing complement of students here as we go forward. You have to have a bachelor's degree or at least 90 credits in the health sciences. So to take a pre-med program or a pre-vet program for the veterinary school is required. And there are certain prerequisites. All your basic sciences have to be completed. But we evaluate the grade point average, the total grade point average, the grade point average in the prerequisite courses. We also, for the vet school, is the GRE. For the medical school is the MCAT, which are exams that test the aptitude of students who want to pursue those professions. But we also look at the individual. So it's not just the scores that are important. It's not just your GPA, it's not just your MCAT score, but we look at the total individual. Are they really dedicated to being a physician? Is this what they have dreamed about? Do they have experience in hospitals or in healthcare delivery to prepare them to know what they're about to get into? Because it's an 8 or 9 year course of training by the time you go through residencies and everything else. But application can be made to the school online, and you can go online and view the prerequisites. Our student body is basically U.S. citizens. Probably 92% of our students are U.S. citizens. About 5 or 6% are from Canada, and then the other percent is international students from actually around the world who come to us. We have a very diversified student body. We have a lot of underrepresented minorities that are in our school and that's again, we don't just look at tests, we look at the whole individual. We have a very extensive interview program that is held, because if you are a person of character and you have the ability to be able to go through a medical school environment, then Ross is the place for you. I think what's going to be tremendous for Freeport, and the retailers will notice this soon, is that of course our faculty live here full time. We will have many employees who are Bahamians, because we do have a lot of staff positions and a lot of even some administrative positions that we'd love to fill with the qualified Bahamians in the school as well. But also our student body, since we go to school 3 semesters a year, so we're here basically full time. And so the students will be here, if we have, say in January, 200 to 250 students, those people will be here full time. It's like having a hotel, but they're here for a year and a half. Instead of a hotel where you have peaks and valleys and up and down, this will be consistent people living here, using transportation, buying food, going to restaurants, using the transportation facilities. It'll be a constant, and I think the retailers will then see that and be able to adjust to, instead of having the ebb and flow of tourism, to having a consistent source of income from the students and even from the people who are coming to visit the students and the faculty as well. Our initial plan, you asked about what are the phases that we're going to go through. And the initial plan is at the Seahorse Shopping Plaza to renovate space about 30,000 square feet. That'll be able to accommodate up to 600 to 700 students. So as we start in January with several hundred, or with a couple hundred students, 200 to 250, we'll be adding to that as we go forward, again in May and then in September. And while we're using those facilities, we'll be building our permanent campus. And so as that construction's ongoing, we won't have classes and construction intermixed. The construction will be some distance away, and so we'll be able to move quite rapidly in the construction phase. So in 2010, and as yet undetermined, but probably early in 2010, we'll have portions of the permanent campus ready for occupancy, and then we'll begin to move facilities, administration, classrooms, etc., from the Seahorse Plaza to the permanent campus in a very organized fashion so we don't interrupt the educational flow, because we are here year-round. So there isn't a summer where we could take off and move things. We actually are here year-round, and the primary focus that we have is the academic experience that our students will have, and that is what drives us with moves and with phases. As far as the permanent campus, there are several phases to that as well, and that'll be determined by the speed in which we can attract world-class faculty and build up the staff with the local Bahamian folks to be able to make sure we have the services that are provided that a medical student needs and requires for their education. Our facility will have room for student housing. We are making plans to have that incorporated on the campus, but it won't be the total complement of the student body. We will have people utilizing rental space around the island, but certainly we want to have space, a core amount of space there on campus. And so that will be developed as part of our overall master campus plan. The initial couple hundred that come in January will be using local housing, and we'll be dependent on local housing for the first year plus until we can build out that portion of the master campus plan. Our third and fourth semester of our program is called Introduction to Clinical Medicine, and during this process, students begin to be introduced to the clinical medical phase of their education. And through this, we've had a tremendous response from the Rand Hospital in ways that students can be able to view health delivery here in Grand Bahama Island, and to be able to work with the local providers of healthcare to be able to better educate our students.
Well, you've just all heard the exciting news. It's obviously a very large project for the Bahamas as well as Ross University. We hope you'll stay tuned to the BahamasWeekly.com, where we'll be bringing you updates phase by phase as this exciting project progresses into the future. Thanks.